Welcome to CSEGuru. In this session, we will discuss the difference between for loop and while loop. Already, we have discussed the concept of for loop with example and also we have traced the logic. Similarly, we have discussed the concept of while loop with examples and we have traced its logic also. So now, in this session, we will compare this for loop and while loop. Both the loops, if you are considering, it will check the condition first itself. That is, it will test the condition and only when the condition is evaluated to true, then only it will allow the body of the loop to execute. Otherwise, even one time also, it will not allow the body of the loop to execute when the condition fails. So, both the loops, it is otherwise called pre-test loop since the condition is evaluated first itself. Top testing loop, condition tested at the top of the loop, and entry control loop. Only when the condition is evaluated to true, then only the body of the loop will execute. If the condition fails, in the sense the body of the loop will not at all execute. In for loop, if you are considering the initialization, condition evaluation, that is testing and updation, all done as a single statement. But in while loop, if you are considering initialization done before the while loop, testing was done at the beginning of the while loop and updation done at the end of the body of the loop. So this is the main difference. So in while loop, initialization is separate single statement, testing is single statement and updation is single statement. But in for loop, if you are considering all three done complete as a single statement. Next, syntax for loop. For, this is a keyword. Immediately after this keyword, open parenthesis and closed parenthesis. Within this parenthesis, three expressions we need to specify. Each should be separated by semicolon. And expression 1 is nothing but the initialization. Expression 2 is nothing but the loop expression, that is condition checking. And expression 3 is nothing but the loop updation. So here if we are considering all three expressions we have specified within a single statement along with the for loop. Then immediately after this statement, this is open curly brace and closed curly brace. This represents the body of the loop. And within the body of the loop, any number of statements we can able to specify and all the statements has to end with the semicolon. This is the syntax for loop. And if you are considering the while loop, actually this is the syntax, that is while loop. This is the loop condition we need to specify within while loop. And within the body of the loop, any number of statements we can able to specify. But specifically, if you are comparing with the for loop, this first expression, that is initialization done here. That is, this is expression 1 as a single statement. So, initialization done before while loop. And expression 2, that is done along with the while loop. That is at the beginning of the while loop. Then expression 3 at the end of the body of the loop. This is expression 3. So here expression 1 is single statement, expression 2 is another single statement, expression 3 is another single statement. But in for loop, all three statements combined as a single statement. So this is the main difference between the syntax of for loop and while loop. In for loop and while loop, if you are considering, in all respects, everything it will be same. Only difference here is syntax only. Whatever the programs we are implementing with for loop, the same programs we can able to implement with the while loop logic also. But the syntax only differs here. Next, flowchart if we are considering. In for loop, first we need to consider expression 1. That is nothing but the initialization expression. And this initialization we need to consider only for the first iteration. Next iteration onwards, we will consider the updated value of the variable. So initialization done first, that is expression 1. Next, every iteration, this expression 2 will be evaluated. Only when the expression 2 is evaluated to true means it will allow the body of the loop to execute once. And after execution, the variable will get updated. With the updated variable, again the loop will check the condition. That is expression 2 with the updated variable value. Again, if the condition is evaluated to true, it will allow the body of the loop to execute one more time. After execution, update the variable value. With the updated variable value, check the condition. And if the condition is evaluated to true, again one more time body of the loop will be allowed to execute. And this process continues until this expression 2 is evaluated to true. At any point of time, if the expression 2 is evaluated to false, means loop will exit here. So initially only expression 1 is required, that is initialization. Similarly, in while loop, if you are considering, this is expression, this is the loop expression, and first itself initialization will be done. Then the expression 2 will be evaluated with the while loop. When the condition is evaluated to true, means it will allow the body of the loop to execute once. After execution, we need to consider expression 3 here, that is variable value will get updated here. After updation, with the updated variable value, the while loop will check the condition again. This is expression 2. Again, if the condition is evaluated to true, it will allow the body of the loop to execute one more time. And at the end of the body of the loop, variable value will get updated with expression 3. Then again, it will go to the condition evaluation. Again, if the condition is evaluated to true, this process continues until this expression 2 is evaluated to true. That is the while loop expression. At any point of time, if this expression is evaluated to false, means the loop will exit. In for loop, all we have specified a single statement only. But in while loop, expression 1 first, next expression 2, at the end of the body of the loop, expression 3. So this is the flowchart difference between for loop and while loop. Next, if we are considering the examples. So example here we have considered the factorial function. So in factorial function, first we need to initialize I variable and check the condition whether I is less than or equal to n. If the condition is evaluated to true, means allow the body of the loop to execute once. That is, find the product value. After execution, update the variable value. With the updated variable value, consider the next iteration. Then check the condition. Again, if the condition is evaluated to true, allow the body of the loop to execute once. So this process continues until this condition fails. So this is the example for factorial function using for loop. So the same logic we have implemented with while loop also. So here this initialization we have done before while loop. Next, this condition evaluation at the beginning of the while loop. And then if the condition is evaluated to true, it will allow the body of the loop to execute once. It will find the product value. Then at the end of the body of the loop, update the I value. After updation, consider the next iteration. So in the next iteration, with the updated I value, check the condition. If the condition is evaluated to true, again the body of the loop will execute one more time. And this process continues until the condition fails. So here if we are considering in both for loop and while loop, this initialization we require only for the first iteration. Then the next iteration onwards, only this expression to condition evaluation and loop updation that will be carried out. So this is the example for loop and while loop to find the factorial function. So in this session, we have discussed the difference between for loop and while loop. In the next session, we will move to the next looping concept, do while loop. Thank you for watching this video.